inheritance and polymorphisms. Next, about title of the chapters, that central idea of the chapters, importance of the units, objectives and outcomes. These are the points which we have already covered for the previous lecture. So today I think we have also covered the advantages of object-oriented programming using Pythons. That advantages it might be, yeah, it is also covered. Then disadvantages of the object-oriented programming, that is also covered, and that characteristics we are on, that point was remaining, the characteristics of object-oriented programming. So the characters we can call it as a benefit of object-oriented programming. What are the benefits are there when we are using object-oriented programming concept in Pythons? The first benefit is emphasis is on data rather than procedures. So the procedures is we are focusing on C programming language, and we here in object-oriented programming we are fully focused on data. So emphasis is on data rather than procedures. The next benefit is programs are divided into objects. Yes, of course, whatever the programs are there, so you are writing the programs, that programs is divided into your object. Through that object we can access the class. So that is another benefit of object-oriented programming. Next, data structures are designed such that they characterize the objects. So in these benefits, we are designing the data structures in a such a way that that data structures gives the benefits to the objects. So data structures are designed such that they characterize the objects. Next, characteristics, function that separate on the data of an object are tied together in a data structure. So the functions and data which are tied together to form the data structures. So next, data is hidden and cannot be accessible by external functions. So data is hidden. Yes, in object-oriented programming, data are hidden and we cannot access that data by using the external functions. So data is completely hidden. Next, object may communicate with each other through functions. With the help of call by value and call by reference, objects may be communicate with others through the use of functions. Okay, so data is hidden and cannot be accessible by external functions. Whatever the data is hidden in object-oriented programming, that data cannot be accessible with the help of external function also. That object may communicate with each other through the functions. Each and every objects are communicated with each others with the help of functions. New data and function can be easily added whenever necessary. Yes, of course, if user wants to add any data or variables or functions within that programs, they can easily add it whenever they want the whenever they want the data and functions. So as object oriented, as we know, object oriented programming language is a bottom up approach, and that is followed in the program design whenever creating the programs. So these are the benefits or characteristics of object oriented programming. The first is emphasizes on data rather than procedures. Next, programs are divided into the objects. Third benefit, data structures are designed in such a way that they are characterize the object. Function that separate on the data of an object that are tied together in the data structures. So next, data is hidden and that data cannot be accessible by external functions. Object may communicate with each other through the functions. When new data and functions can be easily added whenever it is required. And the object-oriented programming follow the bottom-up approach for designing the programs. So that is the characteristics of object-oriented programming. So next is a applications of object-oriented programming where this programming language is used. The first and most important application of object-oriented programming is that user interface design such as windows and menus. So for designing the user interface, this programming language is used. So that is the one application. Second application is object-oriented programming language is used for real-time systems. For example, real-time system, for example, creating the applications, the Android applications, creating the simulations and modelings. For that purpose, this language is used. Then object-oriented database for creating the database. Like for examples, you have one person, that is person is having their name, age, roll numbers, marks, like that. For creation of this person database, you can use the object-oriented programming language as well. Now next is a artificial intelligence and expert system. For example, robot. For creating the robot, we are using the artificial intelligence and expert systems. For that purpose also object-oriented programming language is used. Next, neural networks and parallel programmings, the decision support and office automation systems. So these are the standard application for the object-oriented programmings in Pythons. So these are the application characteristics, advantages and disadvantages. So you should know it. So this is the overview of general purpose that I have told because of the generals. So next is a, so let's focus on our first unit of first point or first content in our third unit, that is the classes. Okay, so how to create the class, syntax of the class, what is class, that we are going to see. Okay, so in Python, so as we know, class is nothing but the blueprint of an objects, and class having its own data members and member function like attributes, methods, etc, etc. In Python, how class can define? Let's see. Python is a multi-paradigm programming language. It supports different programming approach, like top-down approach or bottom-up approach. For these two approach, Python is supporting. So one of the popular approach to solve a programming problem is by creating the objects. Okay, whenever you are creating the class, you have to create an object of that class for accessing the data members and member functions. So this is known as a object oriented programming. So as we know, object oriented programming is fully focused on your classes and objects. So one of the popular approach to solve the programming problem is by creating the object. This is known as your object oriented programming. So every object has two characteristics. Every object has two characteristics. Attributes, and second is the behavior of that. First properties is parrot has its name, age, color as attribute. Okay, name, age and color as attribute. And behavior of that parrot is singing and dancing. Parrot is a singing and dancing as behavior of that class. Behavior of that class, or we can call it as behavior of that object. The concept of object oriented programming in Python focus on creating reusable code. So as we know, in object oriented programming, so we can create the reusable code. This concept is known as a don't repeat yourself. Okay, this concept is also known as don't repeat yourselves. In Python, the concept of object oriented programming follows the some basic principles. That principles we are going to see it. So this is how to create an class that we are going to see. Though that is classes and instance objects. So as we know, class is the blueprint of blueprint for the objects. We can think of class as a sketch of a parrots with label. You can think of class as a sketch of a parrot with labels, and that class, it contains all the details about the name, color and size. So these are the attributes of parrot class. Based on these descriptions, we can study about the parrot. So as we know, parrot is an object. The example for class of parrot can be how to create a class. So I will tell the syntax for creating the class. Class statements create a new class definitions. So class is nothing but the keyword. The name of the class immediately follows the keyword class followed by the colon as follows. So this is the syntax for creating the class in Python. Class name, then two dots are there. Class name, two dots are there. Optional class documentation string. Optional class documentation string and class suit. When we are creating the class in object oriented programming, simply we are giving the class name, then open curly bracket and close the curly bracket. In between we are writing the statements. So that is the syntax for the class in object oriented programming. But syntax in Python, see class name, then then two dots, optional class documentation string, and then class as an suit. So let's see optional class document string. What does it mean? The class has a documentation string which can be accessed via class name, that is the document. So optional class documentation string which can be accessed via class name, that is the document. Next is a class suit. So class suit consists of all the components statement defining class members, data members and member functions. Class suit म्हणजे काय? It contains your data members, class members and member function, nothing but your class suit. Okay, that is the standard syntax for creating the class in the Python. So let's take the example. Let's take the example. A class is a parrot. Class is a parrot. That is the object as in pass. Okay, class is in parrot, then double dot and pass. Here we use the class keyword to define the empty class, that is the parrot. In why it is empty class? Because we are not defining the data members, member functions and class members of this class. So for this class is an empty. From class we construct the instance. From class we construct an instance. Instance is nothing but the object. An instance is a specific object created from a particular class. Instance is nothing but the specific object we are creating from a particular class for accessing the data members and member functions. So as we know, class is a user defined prototype for the object that defines the set of properties, attributes, characteristics of any object of that class. Attributes are data members. Data members is nothing but class members and instance variables. So these are the data members. Methods access via dot notations. जर आपल्याला क्लासचे डेटा मेंबर्स, क्लास मेंबर्स किंवा इन्स्टन्स व्हेरिएबल ऍक्सेस करायचे असेल तर आपण काय करतो, डॉट यूज करतो. When we want to access the class variables and instance variables, then we can call it as a data member. So these are the attributes of that class. We are accessing the attributes of class with the help of dot notations. Okay, so that is nothing but the class. So this is the standard example for creating the class in the Python. So class is a person, then two dots are there. Class is a persons. So every person has their own name and age. Each person has their name and age. So define init, then in bracket self comma name comma age. Define init. So init is a standard methods or special methods when you are creating the attributes, when we are defining the attributes of that class, we need to include the init methods, as I already told in the second unit as well. Define init in bracket self comma name comma age. म्हणजे त्या person's name and age we need to display. So self dot name. So these are the attributes of that person class. So self dot name is equal to name and self dot age is equal to age. So P1 is equal to person. So P1 is nothing but the object of that class. P1 is equal to person in bracket pass name as a John and age is a 36. Pass name as a John and age is a 36. Now print P1 dot name. So that dot notation used to access the attributes of class attributes like data members or data variables or instance variables. So name and age are variables of person class. So P1 dot names and P1 dot age. So this is the example for the creating the class in the Python. So I will execute that example as it is. Class is a person. Instead of writing, I will directly copy it. Okay. So class is a person. Define init self comma name comma age, then two dots. Just save your programs. I have already saved this file. run the modules. So the output is John and 36. Name of the person is John and age of that person is 36. So this is for creating the class in the Python. So I some more examples are also there. Okay, so class, my class, then two dots are there, x is equal to 5 and print my class. So that run this course. So these are the tutorials are online. So class is a main class is a my class. So this is the creating the class in the Python. So next is how to create an instance object in the Python. So instance object is nothing but the to access the data members and member function of that class that we are going to see. So before that, I want to explain some more point about the class. Okay. Now instance objects. Once you created the class, how to access that data members and member functions of that class. With the help of object we can access it. Now creating the instance object. To create instance of a class, you call the class using class name. Okay, like your p1 is equal to person, in bracket we are passing the argument that is John and name and age of that person, that is the 36. That p1 is nothing but the object of that class. To create instance of a class, you call the class using class name and pass in whatever arguments it's in init methods. init methods मध्ये किती arguments होते अगोदर? 3 होते. First argument is self, second is name and third is age. So this will create first object of class employee class. Okay, so how to create an object? That is name of the class is equal to class name, or we can say object is equal to class name and then attributes or parameters. Okay, object is equal to class name and parameter. So this is the syntax for creating the instance objects. So let's take here example as an employee. Employee 1 is equal to employee employee is a Zara, and 2000 is a 2K is nothing but the salary, that is 2000. So this will create second object of employee class. Employee 2 दुसरा employee आहे. दुसरा एम्प्लॉईचं नाव काय आहे? माणी अँड त्याची सॅलरी किती आहे? 5000. जर थर्ड एम्प्लॉई असेल तर कसा तुम्ही ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट करणार? एम्प्लॉई 3 is equal to employee. For example, third employee is Pratik and salary is 6000. Employee जर 4 असेल, employee 4 is equal to employee in bracket fourth employee, for example गीतेश्वरी असेल, गीतेश्वरी कॉमा 6000, त्यांची सॅलरी किती आहे? 6000. फिफ्थ एम्प्लॉई असेल, एम्प्लॉई 5 is equal to employee और EMP 5 is equal to employee. Parameters असतील, employee name is an Fiza and salary of Fiza is 7000. Okay, like that we can create an object of that class. Now how to access the attributes of that class, that we are going to see. So you can access the object attributes using the dot operators. Yeah, that we know. With the object, class variables would be accessed using class name as follows. जर आपल्याला attributes it means that class variables and instance variables जर आपल्याला ऍक्सेस करायचे असेल तर आपल्याला काय यूज करावं लागणार आहे? डॉट ऑपरेटर. ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड प्रोग्राम मध्ये पण आपण काय यूज करत होतो? डॉट ऑपरेटर टू ऍक्सेस द मेथड्स अँड variable of that class. So here employee 1 dot display employee. So display employee and brackets. So this is the method of employee class. Second, employee 2 dot display employee. So display employee is the method of that employee class. And now print total employee percentage of D and percentage of employee dot employee count. जर एकच एम्प्लॉई असेल तर तुम्ही डायरेक्टली डिस्प्ले करू शकता. जर एकापेक्षा जास्त असेल तर यू कॅन यूज द फॉर लूप फॉर डिस्प्लेइंग द एम्प्लॉई रेकॉर्ड. So that is for the accessing the attributes of that class. So this is the program for the employee class. So that this program is very simple. पहिल्यांदा काय केलंय? क्लास एम्प्लॉई क्रिएट केलाय. Common base class for all the employees. So employee count is equal to 0. Class as an employees. Common base class for all the employees, that is employee count is equal to 0. Then define init methods. 3 attributes आहेत, self, name and salary. Self, name and salary. आता self dot name is equal to name, self dot salary is equal to salary, and employee dot employee count plus is equal to 1. तर एकाच एम्प्लॉईचा आपल्याला रेकॉर्ड डिस्प्ले करायचा इथे. तर एम्प्लॉई डॉट एम्प्लॉई काउंट प्लस इज इक्वल टू 1 केले. So next, define display count. Display count is a method used in this class. You can define the method anywhere within that class in bracket of self. In bracket of self. So I will tell you why self is used everywhere here. Self काय यूज करायचं ते that I am going to explain here. What is self? You will understand more clearly. Yeah, self parameter. Self parameter is a reference to the current instance of the class, and it is used to access variable that belongs to that class. Self parameter काय यूज करायचं? To access the, or it is the reference of the current instance of the class. current instance of the class and it is used to access variable that belongs to the class. म्हणजे आपण जिथे व्हेरिएबल्स क्रिएट करतो, ओके, लाईक तुमचे व्हेरिएबल्स नेम अँड एज असेल तर ते व्हेरिएबल्स ऍक्सेस करण्यासाठी आपण काय यूज करतोय, सेल्फ हे पॅरामीटर यूज करतोय. The self parameter is a reference to the current instance of the class and it is used to access variable that belongs to the class. It does not have to be named self. You can call it as whatever you like, but it has to be the first parameter of the function in the class. That is the first parameter. Self as use करायची काही गरज नाहीये, तुम्ही दुसरा कुठलाही पॅरामीटर्स यूज करू शकता to access the current instance of the class or current variable of that class. For that purpose self parameter is used. आता हे example बघा, use the word my silly object and abc instead of self. तर इथे काय केले, my silly instead of self त्यांनी कुठला पॅरामीटर यूज केलाय, my silly object comma name comma age. ओके, आणि दुसऱ्या define my function of abc. अगोदर काय होते इथं सेल्फ होता आणि इथे काय केलं त्यांनी एबीसी यूज केलंय. Okay, so it doesn't mean that you can use the self, you can give any other parameters. So that is the use of self. I'm getting what I am telling. Are you, you guys are getting what I'm telling to you? समजते का सगळ्यांना काय चाललंय ते? I'm audible to all? ज्ञानेश्वर, प्रतीक, ज्ञानेश्वर, प्रतीक, I'm audible to all?
Yes ma'am.
ज्ञानेश्वर.
Ma'am, audible.
Okay. Mayuri, ma'am, it is like a this keyword in Java. Yes, it is like a this keyword in the Java. Same. This म्हणजे काय करतो, करंट इन्स्टन्सला पॉइंट करतो. सेम मयुरी, राईट. Okay, so this is the employee class, common base class for all the employees. Employee count is equal to 0. Now define init. So init is a special method. In bracket we are passing three parameters of employee class. The first is the self, second is the name of the employees, and third is the salary of that employee. Self dot name is equal to name, self dot salary is equal to salary, and employee dot employee count प्लस इज इक्वल टू 1. म्हणजे एकाच एम्प्लॉईचा रेकॉर्ड आपल्याला काय करायचंय, डिस्प्ले करायचंय, म्हणून एम्प्लॉई काउंट प्लस केला इज इक्वल टू 1. नाउ नेक्स्ट डिफाइन डिस्प्ले काउंट. Define display count in bracket of self. So self is the parameters which is used to access the current instance of that class. Now print total employee percentage of D in double quote, total employee percentage of D double quote complete, percentage of employee dot employee count, employee dot employee count. Now next is a define display employees of self. तर कुठला रेकॉर्ड डिस्प्ले करायचा, that is name of the employee, self dot name, salary that is self dot salary. So print name. आता जावा मध्ये प्लस यूज करत होतो, इथे प्लस नाही यूज करायचं, डायरेक्टली यू कॅन इन डबल कोड that is parameters and self dot name to access the parameters, salary self dot salary. Okay, this would create first object of employee class. तर ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट केले त्यांनी किती, एम्प्लॉई 1, एम्प्लॉई 2, एम्प्लॉई 1, एम्प्लॉई 2. एम्प्लॉई 1 is equal to एम्प्लॉई झारा 2000. This would create second object of employee class. So this would create the second object of employee class, that is employee 2 is equal to employee, that is name of the person, name of the class employee. Then money and salary of that employee is 5,000. Now access the two method, that is first method name is display employee and second employee to display as an employee. म्हणजे त्याचं नेम अँड सॅलरी काय होणार आहे, फक्त आपल्याला डिस्प्ले होणार आहे. अँड देन टोटल एम्प्लॉई पर्सेंटेज ऑफ डी एम्प्लॉई डॉट एम्प्लॉई काउंट. सो दिस इज द फॉर क्रिएशन ऑफ instance object in the class. So I will execute these programs. Okay, so this is the employee class. Okay, so name is Zara, salary is 2,000. then name is Mani, salary is 5,000. then total किती employee, आता इथे employee count केले, total employee is 2. okay, Zara and Mani. So for that purpose we are creating the two object here. Employee 1 is equal to, is it visible? Okay, so it is wait for 2 minutes. okay, so हाँ, एम्प्लॉई इज 1 इज इक्वल टू एम्प्लॉई. इथे एक आपण काय केलं, ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट केलाय. एम्प्लॉई 2 इथे एक ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट केलाय आणि फक्त मेथड्स कॉल केलेत. एम्प्लॉई 1 इज इक्वल टू डिस्प्ले एम्प्लॉई. ओके, डिस्प्ले एम्प्लॉई. दुसरा एम्प्लॉई 2 डॉट डिस्प्ले एम्प्लॉई आणि इथे एम्प्लॉई टोटल एम्प्लॉई किती आहे ते प्रिंट केले. दॅट इज एम्प्लॉई डॉट एम्प्लॉई काउंट. दॅट इज एम्प्लॉई टोटल एम्प्लॉई इज 2. Is there any doubt here? Those who are not understood this. आणि पहिली मेथड आहे बघा, डिफाइन डिस्प्ले काउंट. तर डिफाइन डिस्प्ले काउंट ही मेथड फक्त त्या एम्प्लॉई काउंट करण्यासाठी आपण काय केले, डिस्प्ले केले. दॅट्स इट. okay, so this is for creating the class and instance object in the class, and how to access the attributes of that class with the help of self parameters. With the help of self parameters, or how to access the current instance of the class through the self parameters. That you should remember. Okay, that is the output of the program. So employee 1 dot age is equal to 7. So here that one statement is given after getting output. You can add, remove or modify the attributes of class and object at any times. Simple आहे. तुम्ही add करू शकता. जर if user want to add the more employee records, they can add it. If you want to remove the any record within that code, you can remove it by simply just comment द्या employee जो तुम्हाला रिमूव्ह करायचा आहे रेकॉर्ड, त्याला कॉमेंट मध्ये तुम्ही राईट करू शकता. अँड मॉडिफाय द अट्रिब्यूट्स ऑफ क्लास अँड ऑब्जेक्ट ॲट एनी टाइम्स. येस, सो एम्प्लॉई 1 डॉट एज इज इक्वल टू 7. दॅट इज एज हा 7 हा एम्प्लॉई आपल्याला ऍड करायचा आहे. दॅट इज ऍड अँड एज अट्रिब्यूट्स. देन एम्प्लॉई 1 डॉट एज इज इक्वल टू 8. Instead of 7, modify the age attributes. Then delete the employee 1 dot age. We delete age attributes. Okay, so instead of using the normal statement to access the attributes, you can use the following functions. So these are the functions for accessing the attributes. So get attributes, has attributes, set attributes and delete the attribute. To get the attributes म्हणजे काय, आपल्याला तो attribute access करायचा असेल तर. So get attributes that is the syntax object comma name and then default. To access the attribute of objects, we are using the get attribute functions or get attribute methods. Second, the has attributes object comma name to check if the attribute exists or not. Has attributes कशासाठी यूज करायचे? Has attribute function is used to check if an attribute exists or not. Now third method is set attribute. Set attributes, that is object parameters are object comma name comma value. Object comma name comma value to set an attributes. If attribute does not exist, then it would be created. तर तो attributes त्या एम्प्लॉई रेकॉर्डला प्रेझेंट नसेल तर काय करायचे? क्रिएट करायचे. दॅट इज सेट अट्रिब्यूट्स. नाउ नेक्स्ट इज अ डिलीट अट्रिब्यूट. For delete attributes, delete, that is del, and then ATTR in bracket object comma name to delete an attributes. Okay, then एक example पण दिले. Has attributes employee 1 comma age, get attributes employee 1 comma age, then set attributes and delete the attributes as an age. Okay, so these are the standard attributes access methods instead of using the normal statement. Okay, so everybody understood how to create the class in the Python and how to access the instance object and how to create it. Okay, that is very simple. It's like your Python programs. So next is a method object class and instance variable. मेथड ऑब्जेक्ट कशा क्रिएट करायच्या, क्लास आणि इन्स्टन्स व्हेरिएबल कसे क्रिएट करायचे पायथॉन मध्ये, दॅट वी आर गोइंग टू सी. So for creating the method object, methods are bound function objects. Methods are bound function object. Methods are always bound to the instance of a user defined class. Okay, as we know, methods are always bound to the class. Okay, and methods are always bound to the instance of the user defined class. Unbound methods, that is method bounds to the class object, are no longer available. The methods which are not bound for the functions, they are not longer to available. जे methods तुम्ही बाउंड करत नाही ऑब्जेक्ट फंक्शनला, ते मेथड्स कुठेही प्रोग्राम मध्ये अवेलेबल नाही. देर इज नो existence of that unbounded methods. So this is the method object. So these are the types of method objects, that is py type method, that is py method type, py method types. So explanation of this method is this instance of py type object, this instance of py type object, it is visible to all. It is quietly it is visible to all. Swapnil Mukhre, Swapnil Mukhre, are you present? You are in meeting room, yeah, you are outside of meeting room. Swapnil Mukhre, Kshitija, they both are I think they are just started the meeting rooms and they are unavailable. Swapnil Mukhre, Vaishali Sule.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, my slides are visible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Properly? Yeah, is there any?
No, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, fine. So the first is py type object. First method is py type object, py method type. Okay, this instance of py type object represent the Python method type. This is exposed to Python program as types dot method type. Okay, so that is the method type. This is the type of the method object. So next is a py method check. Int py method check in bracket py object star of o. So return true if o is a method object. Return true if o is the method object and has type, that is py method type has the parameters must be null. That is check method. Check whether that method is present or not. Next is the py object star. The methods are little bit tricky. That is, methods are little bit difficulty. Uh, but whenever you are executing the programs, you are understood or you are getting all the methods. So py third method is py object star. Py object star py method of new. म्हणजे जर आपल्याला नवीन मेथड क्रिएट करायची असेल तर न्यू ऑपरेटर यूज करायचं. देन इन ब्रॅकेट दोन पॅरामीटर पास करायचे. पाय ऑब्जेक्ट स्टार फंक्शन सी कॉमा पाय ऑब्जेक्ट स्टार ऑफ सेल्फ. स्टार फंक्शन अँड स्टार सेल्फ हे दोन ऑब्जेक्ट किंवा हे दोन पॅरामीटर्स when you are creating the new methods in Python, you can use it. So return value as new reference. Return a new method object. Return a new method object with function being any callable object, and self is the instance the method should be bound, and function of C is the function that will be called when the method is called. Self must not be a null. Self must not be null. It cannot be a null. So next method is py method function. Py object star py method function, that is py object star method. So star meth, that is the methods. Return value borrowed reference. Return function object associated with the method. The next is a get functions. So get functions which is used to check error. So micro version of py method functions which avoids the error checking. So next is the py object star py method of self. Then py object star method. Okay, return the instance associated with the method. The instance associated means that object which is associated with that method. The next is a get self. Get self. The get self method कशासाठी यूज करतात? To avoid the error checking. And then py method clear free list. Py method clear free list. Clear the free list. Return total number of freed items. जर तुम्हाला items free करायचे असतील त्या प्रोग्राम्स मधले, then you can use the clear free list method. So that is the method object. Okay, the methods are little bit tricky, but you need to learn it. So next is a class and instance variable. आताच मी सांगितलं क्लास कसा क्रिएट करायचा. The class statement create, how to create the class. Then somebody told, I will ask some of the students how to create the class. वैशाली सुळे. Vaishali Sule, how to create the class? Vaishali Sule. Monali Shinde. Monali Shinde. सावंत, कोयल सावंत. Chaitali.
Yes, ma'am.
How to create the class in Python? How to create a class in Python? Chaitali. Monali Shinde. Monali Shinde. कशाला हो तुम्हाला जर लेक्चर कशाला जॉईन होताय मग तुम्ही लेक्चरला देयर इज नो यूज ऑफ इट आम्ही कशाला लेक्चर कशाला घेत असतो आम्ही व्हॉट इज द यूज ऑफ टेकिंग कंडक्टिंग द लेक्चर्स इफ युअर
Ma'am,
फिजिकल माइंड इज नॉट प्रेझेंट
ma'am,
येस
can I tell?
या
We have to use the keyword class,
नो
class,
नो
and
नो 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 फिजा
class name.
फिजा फिजा वेट फिजा डोंट आय नो दॅट यू डोंट टेल ओके
Okay, ma'am.
मोनाली चैताली अनुराधा where these peoples don't attend lecture if your physical mind is not present for it. Monali Shinde. What is the use of conducting the lectures if you are not physically present? Next, Chaitali, class name. Semicolon hai ka? I'm not asking in object oriented programming. So I'm asking in Python how to create a class. कसं Python class name followed by semicolon एक होतं का? Chaitali, in that fashion I have told the syntax. Class name. Prajakta. Yes. Tell the example of that class and how to access the instance variables or data members of that class. And don't Google it. Okay. Yes, Chaitali Dhaule. How to create the class? And what you are written before that? What you have written before that? Followed by semicolon. In that fashion I have told. Then you are learning object-oriented programming language only. How to access the instance variables? Radhika, class name. Is it right? Class name. Is it right? At least concentrate it. This is morning session, not evening sessions. Yeah, I can understand the Python you are learning first and a little bit tricky, but you should know the syntax as well. I'm not asking another things out of the syllabus. Whatever I have taught, I'm just was telling to say same things. Radhika, yes, how in class name, in that fashion you are creating the class. Radhika, what is the syntax? Radhika, what is the syntax for creating the class? Just speak. Don't put the message. And your physical presence is very important. And don't do such kind of mistake. Many students are lefting from this meeting room. Why? 80 students was joined, and when I am checking the Google Meet, only 70 to 73 students are there. Then why you are attending the lectures if you are not serious about it? Yes, Radhika, I won't say. I want answer from your side. What is the syntax of class? I have explained 3 times. Okay. So next point is class and instance variables. That class I have already told. So creating the class, that is class name, then optional class, document strings and classes and suit. Okay. That syntax I have already told. The class statement create a new class definitions. The name of the class immediately follow the keyword class. Okay. So followed by a colon as follows: class name, then colon, optional class, document strings, that is the define methods, and class is a suit. So class has a document strings which can be accessed via class names, that is document, and the class suit consists of all the component statements defining class members, data, attributes and function, that is nothing but the class suit. क्लास रूट मध्ये काय काय आपण डिफाइन करतो डेटा मेंबर्स attribute and functions, or we can call it as a instance variable as well, then instance object also. So that is nothing but the class suite. Okay, example that we have already executed example, like a class is a person, and another 2 example we have executed for class and instance object. First is a class is a person, and second is for the employees, that I have shown the execution of that too. So this is for the employee class, and one more example I have told, that is for the person class. Okay, so that is the class and instance objects. So next is a okay. Next is a instance variable. Before that, yeah, next is the instance variables. म्हणजेच काय क्लास व्हेरिएबल्स कशी किंवा ऑब्जेक्ट व्हेरिएबल्स कशी क्रिएट करायची जावा मध्ये. So instance variables are owned by instance of the class. Okay, instance variable are owned by instance of the class. This means that for each object or instance of a class or instance, variables are different. For every object or instance of a class, object class, we can call it as an instance of a class, the instance variables are different. The instance variables owned by object of that class. Ola, for each object or instance, we have different values assigned to those variables. म्हणजेच काय, ज्यावेळेस आपण instance variables create करतो for the instance class, प्रत्येक instance object हा different असतो instance variable पेक्षा, कारण की whatever the values which we have assigned to the instance variable, that values are different. So declared. So next is the declare inside the constructor method of the class, that init method. They are tied to a particular object instance of that class. म्हणजेच काही जी init method आहे, init method is are tied to the instance of that class. Here the content of an instance variables are completely independent. It means that from one object instance to other object of instance variables. म्हणजे whatever the contents which are there in the instance variable, that contains, for example, attributes like name, age, then salary, that contents are different, or that contents are completely different, or that variables are completely different from one object instance to the another object of instance. So let's start with a short and easy to digest example. Class is a car. Class is a car. So wheels is equal to 4. Wheels is equal to 4. So that is the class variable. Wheels is equal to 4, and then define init method, that is self comma name. Self comma name. Then self dot name is equal to name, that is the instance variable. So the class variables and instance variables are different. So class variables are belongs to the instance of the class, and instance variable belongs to the instance of that class. So these instance variables and class variables are different. So fields is equal, कारला किती wheels असतात, 4 असतात, आणि self dot name is equal to name, एकच नाव असतं त्या कारला, 4 नाव नसतात सेपरेटली. So that is nothing but the instance variable. Self dot name is equal to name. So above in this basic, no frills car class methods, म्हणजे ह्या क्लासला कुठलेही मेथड्स आपण काय केलेले नाही, डिफाईन केलेले नाहीये. इच इन्स्टन्स ऑफ इट विल हॅव द क्लास व्हेरिएबल्स विल्स अलॉंग विथ द इन्स्टन्स व्हेरिएबल नेम, म्हणजे क्लास व्हेरिएबल्स आहे आणि इन्स्टन्स व्हेरिएबल आहे. लेट्स इन्स्टंटिएट द क्लास टू ऍक्सेस द व्हेरिएबल्स. म्हणजेच काय, हा क्लास काय, हे दोन क्लास व्हेरिएबल्स आणि इन्स्टन्स व्हेरिएबल्स काय तो ऍक्सेस करतो. लेट्स एक्झिक्यूट दॅट एक्झाम्पल. Okay, I will execute a normal command prompt Windows or normal Python Windows. So class as a car, it should be capital. Okay, class, then car. Okay, so next wheels is equal to 4. Okay, enter. So next define init, then parameter self comma name, self comma name. Next self dot name is equal to name. Okay, so this is the instance class. Instance class can access the class variables and instance variable. Class is in car. So I think my class name is wrong. Class is a car. Then wheels 4. Then define init method self and name. Self dot name is name. Okay, so this is the for the instance variable. Understood this difference between instance variables and class variable? So I will read one more time. Instance variables are owned by instance of the class. Okay, instance variables are owned by instance of the class. This means that for each object or instance of the class, instance variables are different. म्हणजे काय, प्रत्येक ऑब्जेक्ट साठी इन्स्टन्स क्लास साठी इन्स्टन्स व्हेरिएबल्स काय असतात, वेगळे असतात. इन्स्टन्स व्हेरिएबल्स आर owned by object of the class. Instance variable owned by object of that class allow for each object or instance to have a different value assigned to those variable. प्रत्येक ऑब्जेक्ट ला किंवा इन्स्टन्स ला डिफरंट व्हॅल्यू असाइन केलेली असते. दॅट इज सेल्फ डॉट नेम इज इक्वल टू नेम. सो दिस इज द अनदर व्हॅल्यू ऑफ दॅट instance variable assigned for that class. So declared inside the constructor method of class, they are tied to the particular object instance of that class. Means the contents of an instance variables are completely independent from one object to another objects. सिंपल आहे. जे पण आपण इन्स्टन्स व्हेरिएबल डिक्लेअर करतो त्याच्यामधले कंटेंट्स काय असतात, डिफरंट असतात as compared to your class. So now let's assume for time being that our Jugaad car has 3 wheels. It's stupid but bear with it. Jaguar car has 3 wheels. To represent that in our code, we can modify the wheels variable. So car dot wheels is equal to 4. म्हणजे कार आहे, त्या कारचं नाव काहीतरी जागूर काहीतरी आहे. आय कॅन नॉट प्रोनाउन्स क्लिअरली. सो त्याला फक्त 3च व्हील्स असतात. ओके, तर आता आपल्याला माहिती आहे फक्त 3 व्हील्स कुठल्या गाडीला असतात, आय सो डोंट नो. तो रिप्रेझेंट दिस, जर असं काही असेल तर आपण ते कसे रिप्रेझेंट करायचं प्रोग्रामिंग मध्ये, कार डॉट व्हील्स इज इक्वल टू 3. डायरेक्टली आपण क्लास व्हेरिएबल्स कसे डिक्लेअर अगोदरच्या एक्झाम्पल मध्ये कसं डिक्लेअर केलेलो, व्हील्स इज इक्वल टू 4. But we can modify in that fashion also when any of car having 3 wheels. So cars dot wheels is equal to 3. So what we did above, we make all cars with 3 wheels in, since we have modified a class variables which we apply to all the instance of car class. Okay, jack dot wheels, fear dot wheels 3 3. So I will modify same class as a car, class as a car, wheels, car dot check, car dot c should be capital, car dot wheels is equal to 3. Okay, next the car that jack dot wheels comma here dot wheels 3 3 3 comma 3. Okay, yeah, this. So jag is not defined, we need to define the jag and fear as well. म्हणजे आपल्याला पहिल्यांदा डिफाइन इनिट मेथड कॉल करावी लागेल, त्याच्यामध्ये जाग आणि फिअर हे 2 पॅरामीटर पास करावे लागतील. देन द आउटपुट विल बी डिस्प्ले. सो दॅट इज फॉर द इन्स्टन्स व्हेरिएबल, that is for the instance variable. So next is attributes and methods. So that point we are going to see for the next lecture, attributes and method. Before that I just we will execute some more program for class and instance variable. Okay, so attributes and methods and inheritance and polymorphisms. So these 4 points we are going to cover for the next lecture. Before that we are going to see the basic for class. Okay, we will revise once once again, how to Python is an object-oriented programming language. Almost everything in Python is an object with its properties and method. A class is like object constructor or blueprint for creating the objects. So to create a class, use the class keyword for creating the class in the Python. So class, my class x is equal to 5 and print in bracket my of class. Now how to create an object of that class in the Python, that we have already seen. ऑब्जेक्ट कसा क्रिएट करायचा. आता वरती क्लास डिक्लेअर केलाय आपण. my class my class. Now we can use class name my class to create an object. So to create an object name p1 and print the values of x. So that is p1 is equal to my class. So my class is our main class and print p1 dot x. So x ची व्हॅल्यू किती आपण तिकडे डिफाइन केली आहे 5. x इज इक्वल टू पाय. जर आपल्याला ती व्हॅल्यू प्रिंट करायची असेल तर ऑब्जेक्ट डॉट variable, that is x, that I'm going to execute here. So class as in my class. Okay, so next x is equal to 5, x is equal to 3. Okay, so next p1 is equal to my class, my class okay, I will execute here. So class, that is my class, my class colon x is equal to 5, then p1 is equal to my class, that is object creation. P1 is equal to my class and then print p1 dot x and then execute. Print p1 dot x invalid syntax. Okay, give space. Then print okay, instead of here I will just copy copy that code and will execute on shell, and then we'll see what will happen. Control S, run the module. Okay, so that is the executed. म्हणजे कमांड प्रमोट वरती प्रॉब्लेम येतो एक्झिक्यूट करायला, तर तुम्ही काय करा, शेल वरती एक्झिक्यूट करा. So class my class is x is equal to 5, p1 is equal to, p1 is nothing but the object of that class, my class is nothing but name of the class, that is the methods, and print p1 dot x. जर आपल्याला ती व्हॅल्यू प्रिंट करायची असेल तर we are using the dot notations. So this is one more example for creating the class and objects.
init method तर मी सांगितलं, init method is the special method which is used for the execution purpose, or we can call it as to initialize the class and object. Example आपण execute केले, class is a person, create a class name person, use the init function to assign value for name and age. So init function to initialize the values. So that is another example we have already executed. And object method, हे पण आपण बघितले, how to create an object method. Object can also contain the methods. Method in object are functions. Method in object are function that belongs to the objects that we have also seen. Self parameter आपण बघितले. Modify the object properties, delete the object and delete the objects pass statement. Okay, तर तुम्हाला that is for the class and objects. You can use the w3school.com website for third unit. So let's next let's see one more example for class and class name. Yes, class variables कशी create करायची बघा आता. Class variables are defined within the class constructor. म्हणजेच काय, class names, open curly bracket and close the curly bracket. So that variable we are declaring inside that curly bracket. But in Python's, class variables are defined within the class constructors because they are owned by the class itself. Class variable are shared by all instance of the क्लास. म्हणजेच काय, जे क्लास व्हेरिएबल्स आपण क्रिएट करतो ते शेअर केले जातात विथ द ऑब्जेक्ट ऑफ दॅट क्लास. They therefore will generally have the same value for every instance unless you are using the class variable to initialize the variables. Define outside of all the methods. Class variables by the convention typically place right below class headers and before the constructor methods and other method. तर बघा, class shark आहे, class variable alone look like this. Class shark आहे, animal type is equal to fish. Shark is name of fish. Animal type काय आहे, fish आहे, is equal to fish. So this is the class variable. So variable animal type is assigned to value fish. Okay, तर shark हा एक type of fish आहे आणि animal type is equal to fish. Then we can create instance of the shark class and we will call it as new shark and print the variable by using dot notation. म्हणजेच काय, आपण इथे क्लास क्रिएट केलाय, त्या क्लासचा आपण काय करतोय आता, इन्स्टन्स क्रिएट करतोय. We can create instance of the shark class. We will call it new shark and print the variable by using dot notation. म्हणजेच काय, आपण त्या क्लासचा इन्स्टन्स क्रिएट करतोय आणि त्या इन्स्टन्सचं नाव काय असणार आहे, न्यू शार्क आहे. ओके, and we are printing the variables using the dot. So new shark is equal to shark. Instance म्हणजेच काय, object. New shark is equal to shark and print variable that is shark and animal type. So new shark dot animal type. So let's run this program. I will run as it is. I will copy this code and will execute on shell. Okay, class shark है, animal type is equal to fish, new shark is equal to shark and print new shark dot animal type. New shark is the instance of this class. Now execute this program. Okay, so that is the fish. Okay, so this is another example for class variable. समझ लगा how to create a class variable? It is very simple. So next, our program returns the value of the variable. Let's add a few more class variables and print out them. Okay, त्यांनी काय केलेत, परत व्हेरिएबल्स ऍड केले तिथे. लोकेशन इज इक्वल टू ओके अँड फॉलोअर्स इज इक्वल टू 5. नाव प्रिंट, त्यांनी लोकेशन्स पण ऍड केलेत. वी विल ऍड सेम that location is equal to double quote, pass that parameter. Next attribute is followers. Followers is equal to pass that parameter. Okay, and print it. Okay, print new dot shark. Sorry, new shark dot animal type आहे. इथे काय येणार आहे, लोकेशन. इथे काय येणार आहे, लोकेशन. Location and complete it. Now print new shark and dot next parameter followers. Okay, and then am I right? Yes, everything is right. Then execute the code. Okay, so fish, okay, and 5. So these three parameter will put it. So this is a class variable. This is for the class variable. So next example, instance variables. Next is a, am I audible to all? Am I audible to all? Madam, attendance घ्या आम्ही. Yes, you can read it in a side, but I'm just telling for more examples. I have already explained everything. Onkar Kulkarni, are you there? Onkar Kulkarni. Onkar Kulkarni. So you can read it. Because I have already explained, but this is for the examples. तुम्हाला examples माहित असू द्या म्हणून that examples I am executing it. Okay. So next example, instance variables. So instance variables are on that I already explained. So example, we will see the example for the instance variables. Unlike the class variables, instance variables are defined within the methods. In the shark class, example below, that is name and age are instance variable. Name and age are instance variable. So I will execute that program. Class as a shark. So that execute the methods of that class. So I will just define the init method and the okay, that is name. So this is class is a shark. Define init self name and age. Self dot name is equal to name and self dot age is equal to age. So these are the instance variable. These are the instance variable. Okay. When I'm executing these examples, there is no output because I have not printed this instance variable with using instance objects. So that's why it is not going to display. When we create a shark object, we will have to define this variable, which are passed as parameter within the constructor methods or another methods. So that is new shark is equal to shark, Sammy and 5. So you can create new sharp that I will copy as it is. New sharp of class name and pass the parameters. That is new sharp is equal to sharp, that is class name, and parameters, that is name and age, and execute it. We need to print it. Okay, print new sharp dot name and print new sharp dot age and run it. Okay, that's Sammy and 5. So these are the instance variables. Okay, so you should know how to create a class variables, how to create an instance variables, how to access that instance and class variables, how to create a class, how to create an instance object in the class, that I have explained. And for more example, for every content I have executed two to three examples. You can try this example by your own. So there will be quiz for based on the all the contents of these units, like instance variable, class variables, then instance variable, class methods, member functions कसे क्रिएट करायचे, ह्याच्यावरती तुम्हाला काय असणार आहे, क्विज असणार आहे. क्विज मध्ये 20 मार्क्सचे क्वेश्चन्स असणार आहेत. इन दॅट क्विज यू हॅड 20 मार्क क्वेश्चन, 20 मार्क्स क्विज, and marks is for 20, marks is also 20 क्वेश्चन्स असणार आहेत, 20 मार्क्सचे क्विज असणार आहेत. तर ते क्विज कशावरती असणार आहे तुम्हाला, जे मी आज कन्सेप्ट घेतले, इन्स्टन्स व्हेरिएबल, क्लास व्हेरिएबल्स, देन मेथड्स, ऑब्जेक्ट मेथड्स, हाऊ टू क्रिएट अन ऑब्जेक्ट मेथड्स, ह्याच्यावरती तुम्हाला क्विज असणार आहेत आणि ते क्विज तुम्ही सॉल्व्ह करायचे आहेत. ओके, तर मी तुम्हाला लिंक वगैरे पाठवून देईल इव्हिनिंग पर्यंत क्विजची. You can solve it. So we will stop here. And start giving attendance from division TYA. Roll number 1, 2. Roll number 1 is
Present, ma'am. Ma'am, roll number 1 is present.
2,
Ma'am, roll number 2.
3,
Present.
3 is absent, 4, 5, 6,
Present, ma'am. Present. Ma'am,
6,
5 is present.
6,
Present.
7,
Present. 5 is also present, ma'am.
8,
Present. Ma'am, 8
9,
is present. 9 is present, ma'am. Roll number 9.
10,
Present. 10 present.
11,
Present, ma'am.
12,
Present, ma'am.
13,
Present, ma'am.
14,
Present, ma'am.
16,
Present, ma'am.
16,
Present, ma'am.
17, 18,
Present, ma'am.
19,
Present, ma'am.
20, 20, 21, 22,
Present, ma'am. 21 present, ma'am.
22, 23, 24,
Present.
25,
Present, ma'am.
26,
Present, ma'am.
27, 27, 28,
28 present, ma'am.
29,
Yes, ma'am. Present.
30,
Present, ma'am.
31, 31 absent, 32, 33,
Present, ma'am. 33.
34,
Present.
35,
Yes, ma'am. 35 present.
36,
36 present, ma'am.
37, 37, 38,
Present, ma'am. 38.
39,
Present, ma'am. 39 present.
40,
Present, ma'am. 40 present.
41, 42, 43,
Present, ma'am.
44, 44,
Present, ma'am.
45,
Ma'am.
Present, ma'am.
46, 46,
Yes, ma'am.
47,
47 present, ma'am.
48,
Present.
Present,
49,
ma'am.
50, 51,
Present, ma'am.
52, 53, 54,
54
55,
present.
55 present.
56, 57,
57 present.
58,
58 present.
59,
Present.
60, 60, 61, 62, 63, 60,
Present, ma'am.
64,
64 present, ma'am.
65,
Present.
66,
Present.
67,
Present.
68,
Present.
69,
Present.
70. Roll number 70. Okay. So absent roll numbers are 3, 4, 17, 20, 27, 31,
Madam,
30.
roll number 3 present.
27 present. Hello,
Madam,
ma'am.
roll number
24 present.
Next.
Ma'am, roll number 46 present.
Next.
Ma'am, 20 present.
Roll number 3 also present, ma'am.
Cone at 20.
Ma'am, 61.
27. 27, ma'am.
Who's 20?
Sonia.
27 is. She's there?
Yes, ma'am. 27.
Roll number 27. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Next.
46, ma'am. Roll number 46.
Bhakti.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Next.
Ma'am, 61.
Ma'am, 20.
Next.
Ma'am, 53.
Cone at 53. Who's 53? Roll number 53. Who's 53? Cone at 53. No. TYB. Roll number 1, 2,
Present, ma'am.
3,
Present, ma'am.
roll number 4, 5,
Ma'am, 3 present.
5 present.
6, roll number 6, 7, 8,
Present, ma'am.
9. Renuka, your roll number.
8, ma'am.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13,
Present, ma'am. 12 present, ma'am.
13,
Present.
14,
Present, ma'am.
15,
Present, ma'am.
16,
Present, ma'am. 16.
17,
14 present.
16 present.
17,
17.
18,
Present, ma'am.
19, 20,
Present, ma'am.
21, 22,
Present, ma'am.
23,
Present, ma'am.
24,
Yes, ma'am.
25, 26,
Present,
27,
ma'am. Present, ma'am. 27.
28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36,
Present, ma'am.
37,
25.
36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45,
Yes, madam.
46.
Yes, madam. 46 present.
Yes, Nanishwar. When I am calling the roll
40,
numbers at 40,
5, 45.
46,
46 present, madam.
47, 47, 48,
Yes, madam.
49,
Present, ma'am.
50.
Present, ma'am.
कौन है 50? 50 कौन है? ओके 51,
Present, ma'am.
52, 53,
Present, ma'am.
54, 55. 54 is present, right? 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60,
Present, ma'am.
Present.
59.
16,
Present.
61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70,
Present.
70 present, 71, 72,
Present, ma'am.
73,
72 present.
73, 73, 74, 75,
Present, ma'am.
76, roll number
75. 75.
76, 77, 78, 79, 80,
Present.
80,
Madam, 55.
55. Okay, next,
Ma'am, roll number 4 present.
next,
Madam,
done,
10. Madam, 10.
next, done.